Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Continuing with Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 14, text number 20. Gunanetan atityadrin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukher vimukto amritam ashnute. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So thank you so much for joining. And this chapter of the Bhagavad Gita entitled The Modes of Material Nature, I will complete the chapter today. So from verse 20 onwards till the end of the chapter, we are going to get knowledge about how we can set some spiritual goals, how we can remember the Supreme Lord who is actually a wish-fulfilling tree. This verse that I just read is talking about how we can situate ourselves on the platform of transcendence. Now, in the beginning of the chapter, Krishna told Arjuna that I'm going to now declare to you the supreme wisdom. Supreme means there's nothing above that, supreme wisdom. And he said, when one fixes oneself in knowledge of the Supreme Lord Krishna, then that person attains to the transcendental nature. And what is the result? Then there is no more being born into this material world. We also learned Krishna says, Aham bija pradaha pita, that I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. Now, this chapter is entitled Three Modes. So, what are those three modes? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. And we learned that when those who operate, who work on the platform of goodness, they experience illumination, they become free from sinful reactions. But those who work on the platform of passion, they have unlimited desires. And because all desires are not fulfilled, there is frustration and then there is entanglement. But what about those who are in the mode of ignorance? They are deluded and they get conditioned in this material world. In fact, Krishna also gave us knowledge about what happens for those who die in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Those who die in the mode of goodness, they go to the higher planetary systems. In passion, they come back into this material world. But those who die in the mode of ignorance, they go down into the animal kingdom, which means they take birth as an animal. So, what do we do with all this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita? We try to understand and change our mode. If we are in ignorance, at least come to passion or goodness. If we are in the mode of passion, come to goodness. And if we are in the mode of goodness, that's not sufficient. We need to transcend even the mode of goodness and go to the mode of pure goodness. Now, today's verse, Krishna is telling us how we can transcend this cycle of birth and death and then enjoy nectar even in this life. It's not that after we die that we're going to enjoy. No. And he with the help of knowledge, he's helping us how we can remain in that position of transcendence. So when we follow the instructions from the Bhagavad Gita, then gradually we will learn the process of bhakti yoga and be able to transcend the modes. See what's happening, the spirit soul, we are spirit souls, we are not this body. We learned this in chapter 2. So we as souls, we are entrapped in this material body. And what happens then, because we have a material body, we get affected by these three modes. But Bhagavad Gita is showing us how not to get affected by these modes and become happy. That's why in chapter 9, Krishna calls this Bhagavad Gita as Susukham. Susukham means one that gives us joy, spiritual happiness. How? By understanding I am spirit, I am not the body. And also understand how these modes of material nature work. Krishna has, given the whole chapter on the modes because it's very important. See, we are performing activities every day, all the time. We are either eating, sleeping, working, whatever we may be doing, we are active by nature. So every action has a reaction. So if we understand which actions to perform and which not, in other words, lead an karma life. A karma means following the Bhagavad Gita, but not desiring to enjoy the fruits of our activities. Then there are no more reactions, and that is called a karma free life. I'm sorry, a karma life, which means karma free life. You see? So in chapter 3, Krishna explained to us the process. He's explaining it in every chapter, but in chapter 3, he says, Yagnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tad artham karma kantaya mukta sangaha samacha. How we can liberate ourselves from this entanglement is that we should perform all our actions as a sacrifice to Krishna. And then we will be able to transcend these three modes. And it starts with mantra meditation. We need to meditate on the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You see, Arjuna is asking some very valuable questions to Krishna. He wants to know what are the symptoms? How do we know, in which mode are we? Wouldn't we like to know, whether I'm in goodness, passion, or ignorance? And these questions should be actually our questions. And once we understand the symptoms of those in these three modes, then it would behoove us to work towards transcending them, right? In other words, do self-evaluation. Where do I stand? And that's a very good habit, I would say, because that will help us, keep track of our spiritual growth, help us to reach our spiritual goal also. So there are certain rules to be followed. Regulation is necessary in life. I mean, discipline, right? Whenever we, like children go to school or, adults go to office, college, wherever, there is discipline. We can't just walk in and walk out anytime we want or do what we like. No, we got to follow the instructions. Like, for instance, if we are working, we got to follow the instructions of our boss. If the boss says you got to be at work at 7 a.m., we got to be at work at 7 a.m. So rules are to be followed. And Arjuna, he's asking these symptoms for our benefit. So what does Krishna say? From verse 22 to 25, he gives us the symptoms. He says that those who are not attached, who are not deluded, who are unwavering, undisturbed, they are neutral, they are self-realized. They regard happiness and distress the same. They see everyone with equal vision. They are very steady on the spiritual path. If they want to follow Bhakti Yoga, they have that determination. No dualities. They don't get affected by happiness, distress, heat, cold, success, failure. Nothing at all. And they don't consider anyone as their enemy. They give same treatment to everybody. And they are renounced in consciousness. These are the symptoms of those who have already transcended the three modes of material nature. So what do we learn from this? That if we want to go above the three modes, then first of all, we need to remove envy from our heart. Envy, envious of others. Also, try and control our hankerings. I want this and I want that. We feel if I get this, I will be happy. But we've tried so many times for so many years, to get this, that, everything. And still, we are not permanently happy. Why? Because most of us are on the bodily concept, which means we only think about the body. We've forgotten the spirit soul that who we really are. So, to be able to transcend these modes, Krishna is advising Arjuna to control the senses. Control this, just like, let me give you an example. If I am diseased, I have a particular disease, and I go to the doctor is going to prescribe some medication and also is going to ask me to follow a certain diet to get well. Right? So in Bhakti Yoga also we have diet and medicine, right? These two things are that we do mantra meditation and we only eat prasadam, which means food that is first been offered to Krishna. Then we will not get affected by so many unlimited desires. You see, there's no need to fulfill all desires of the body. That would be greed, right? Need to understand the difference between need and greed. Simple living, high thinking. That's going to make our life much, much easy, right? So if one wants to break the cycle of birth and death, then the process given in the Bhagavad Gita is Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga starts with meditation, mantra meditation. We need to meditate on the holy name. That is going to help purify our hearts and remove envy, lust, anger, greed, everything out of the heart and make it pure. And at that stage, we will not get affected by dualities, you see. So, in this chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna that it's important to have an equal vision. Excuse me. So, we can actually contemplate on this, that whenever we see people or we see living entities like animals, birds, whoever it might be, right? Some living entity, do we see them with equal vision? Do we see that there is a supreme Lord in the heart of all these living entities? Like Krishna told us, Aham Bija Pradahapita, I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. He says, Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya. Sarva means all. Yoni means different species. So he says, I'm the seed-giving father of all living entities. So then we need to see all living entities with equal vision. You see, it is difficult to transcend these modes because we are so used to it, right? We are habituated to think in certain way, act in certain way, behave in certain way. So it's difficult to change, but it is very, very important. Krishna says, yes, it's difficult to transcend, but it is possible. How? With determination, right? If we follow the instructions given in the Bhagavad Gita, then we will be able to really transcend these three modes. Just like we are spiritual beings, we've come from the spiritual world, but being in this material world, we do get contaminated. But at heart, we are pure. It's just that there is contamination that needs to be removed. A nice example Srila Prabhupada gives is the rainwater. When the rain pours from the sky, it is pure, it's clear. But when it falls on a muddy area where there's a lot of mud, it gets contaminated. But that doesn't mean that the nature of water is purity. Yes, it is pure, but that contamination needs to be removed. So the contamination within our heart can be removed when we do mantra meditation, which is chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. This is how we can purify our heart. See, our ultimate goal is to become pure and go back to the spiritual world where we belong, because we are spiritual living beings, right? But for that, we need to be qualified. So, in this chapter, towards the end, excuse me, Krishna gives us different aspects of different modes. For instance, he says that those who are in the mode of goodness, they have knowledge. They are free from sinful reactions and they are happy. But those who are in the mode of passion, they have unlimited desires and they perform fruitive activity. What does that mean? Fruitive itself is, we can understand it means we are running after fruits. I'm going to do this activity and I want to get this result and I want to enjoy that result. So that causes entanglement, fruitive activity, right? So those who are in the mode of passion, they also have attraction for anything material. But those who are in the mode of ignorance, Krishna says, they behave like a mad person. They are so lazy, they don't want to do anything. They just want to sleep, sleep, sleep. And they feel that will make me happy. And they also indulge in intoxication. So these are some of the ways we can contemplate and understand, hey, in which category do I fall? Am I operating in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? But towards the end of the chapter, Krishna explains to Arjuna that we need to transcend even the mode of goodness and come to the stage of Shuddha Sattva, which is pure goodness, right? And that purification, as I mentioned, will take place when we do the mantra meditation. We hear the Bhagavad Gita, we understand it and put it into practice, and we also perform mantra meditation. Besides this, we also want to make sure that, there is a saying, every action has a reaction. So we want to make sure that we are performing activities which are not entangling, which are not giving any reactions. You see, if we do good work, there's going to be good reaction. If we do bad work, bad reaction. That's common sense. But Krishna wants us to do neither good nor bad. Then you may say, what do I do? What's in between? That is called akarma. Akarma means that we follow the rules and regulations given in the scriptures and we work according to the scriptures, but we do not desire to enjoy the fruits of our activities. We are not looking for fruits, because that mentality will entangle us. That is called working in the mode of passion. So if we want to be in the mode of pure goodness, then we have to perform a karma based on the scriptures, and then also come to a stage where we do not get affected by dualities. Oh, it's too hot today. Do you know it's 100 degrees? Okay, it is. What can we do? Turn on the air conditioner or turn on the ceiling fan or whatever, not get disturbed by it. Oh no, it's so cold, it's snowing, it's 0 it's okay. Warm yourself up, right? One should not get affected by these dualities. Oh no, I failed. Oh, look at me, I'm so. No, not at all affected by dualities. So need to come to that stage of being equipoised. Now, Krishna, after giving all this knowledge, is explaining to Arjuna, excuse me, that when one performs bhakti yoga, which is devotional service to him, then his whole body gets spiritualized, his mind, his senses, his intelligence, everything gets spiritualized. A very nice example. Let's take an iron rod, okay? And iron rod, when we hold in our hand, it's cold, it's just an iron rod. But when we put that iron rod in fire and let it heat up in the fire, and we remove that iron rod, and if we touch that iron rod, we will get burnt. It gets the qualities of fire just by being in fire, right? It'll give heat and it'll also give light. So that is what happens when we, with this material body, when we Krishnaize it, when we spiritualize it, when we, spiritualize our mind, senses, intelligence, and body, then we have reached that stage of transcendence. All our activities then will be spiritualized. Simple process. Follow the Bhagavad Gita. Very simple instructions are given on how to lead this human form of life. Many times I've given this example that when we buy a new gadget, which is really complicated, what do? We get an owner's manual with it that gives us directions on how to use it, how to operate that gadget. Similarly, when the Lord has given us this human form, He has given us an owner's manual, which is the Bhagavad Gita. And He shows us how to lead this human form of life, how to eat, how to sleep, how to walk, how to talk, what to eat, what not to eat, everything. It's like a baby's manual, like baby steps to show us how we can reach that stage of transcendence. That's very, very, because, excuse me, the purpose of human form of life is not to eat, sleep, and be merry. No. Even the animals do that. Animals eat, they sleep, they have babies, and they defend themselves. So if we human beings with philosophical intelligence do only these four activities, then we are no better than those animals, right? We need to go beyond that propensity. We need to think about, why am I in this material world? Why do we have this material body? What is the purpose of human form of life? And I know I'm suffering, even this today's verse that we read, Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara, that is birth, disease, old age. These are miseries. Have you ever seen any child who's born laughing? So happy to be out? No. All children come out crying because it's misery. Old age is misery. Disease is misery. And according to Bhagavad Gita, death is also a misery. So an intelligent person would want to break the cycle of misery and come out of it and make sure that go to that spiritual planet where there is permanent happiness. You see, we being parts of the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna, we also have tendency to enjoy, right? Is there anyone who does not want to enjoy? We all want to enjoy. We all want to have fun. We all want to be happy. But all of that is temporary in this temporary material world, right? And because we have the tendency to enjoy, we want to lord it over. We want to control as many as we can. The moment we walk into a room, we look around. Who can I control today? This one or that one? Who is easy to be controlled? So that tendency is there. But we forget to understand that Jivera Swarupoy Krishnera Nityadas, that the constitutional position of us as spirit soul is to be the servant of the Supreme Lord Krishna. When we understand that, when we try to understand the Bhagavad Gita, and when we put it into practice, then we'll be able to go above the three modes. Then we won't get entangled at all. So at the end of the chapter, Krishna is giving us a secret formula. And he is actually giving us knowledge by which we can transcend these three modes, right? So what does he say? He says, one who performs full devotional service, which means is completely focused, is sincere and serious, is very determined to succeed on this path of bhakti yoga, performs full devotional service. Now, how do we figure out what's full devotional service? It's given in the Bhagavad Gita. And then he says that person is unfailing in all circumstances. Unfailing. Just like the Bhagavad Gita stresses on the point of mantra meditation that we need to chant every day. So unfailing means even if I am unwell, even if I have a very serious situation or whatever it may be, unfailing, which means no matter what, I will chant the holy names. One who is fully Krishna conscious. Many times we hear people say, show me God, and then I will believe in him. Are we qualified to see him? Absolutely not. So why should he show himself to us? Instead, if we follow Bhagavad Gita, then God will see us. They say, hey, here is this person who is seriously following my instructions. So how do we become fully Krishna conscious? By taking on this knowledge and putting it into practice. Then he says, one who works for me. And that is what we learned in the Bhagavad Gita earlier also. Yat karoshi, yat ashnashi, yat juhoshi, dadashi yat. Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever charity you give, whatever activities you perform, whatever you give away, whatever you do it as an offering unto me. When we do that, then we become free from all reactions. Then Krishna tells Arjuna that those who want to transcend, they have very strong determination. They are above the bodily concept of life. They don't just think how to satisfy this body. No, they also think about the spirit soul, the real me. They think about that. They understand, I am not the Lord. I'm not the master. I am just the servant of the master. They hear the Bhagavad Gita and they perform mantra meditation. This is how one can, set up the spiritual goals. Hey, I want to learn the Bhagavad Gita. I want to learn what does it say? What knowledge is it giving? And also, how do I put it into practice? What is Bhakti Yoga? What is mantra meditation? How should I chant? What should I chant? When should I chant? And what is the result? When we learn all this, this will help us to remember Krishna. And when we start this process of Bhakti Yoga, then gradually we'll be able to transcend the three modes of material nature, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance. This is how we transcend. It's very simple. It's not complicated at all. It's simple for those who are simple. It's complicated for those who want to be complicated, right? So choice is ours. So I'm very grateful to all of you for joining the class today. And my humble request, please, please, please chant every day as much as possible the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and help our own selves to transcend these three modes. So this is how this 14th chapter ends, where Krishna gives us knowledge about three modes of material nature and how to transcend them. So I'll end now. If any of you, if any of you have any questions,